Hi, I'm Ed Bernstein, and welcome to The First Step. With me today is Justin Hayward from the Moody Blues.
Hi.
And Justin, what was that we just witnessed? That was the Colorado Symphony Orchestra.
It was the Colorado Symphony 86-piece orchestra, a very young orchestra out of Denver, and we were playing a live concert. We did 2 nights, 9th and 10th of September last year, at Red Rocks, spectacular venue. Outdoors.
How many people were there?
It was about, in total for the 2 nights, it was about 20,000.
It looked like just a wonderful evening and a great place to perform.
It was absolutely magic. I mean, although you'd have, I thought, first of all, we shouldn't record the first night. We should record the second night, because the second night we'll know all the things that will go wrong on the first night, and then we'll put them right on the second night. But in actual fact, we recorded the first night because public television and a lot of other people that was the date that suited them, and so we did it. And then on the second night I was so glad that we did, because there was so much adrenaline and excitement on the first night doing it. You know, the second night just didn't quite have the edge.
No, that was taped and it was put on. I mean, I went to a video store the other day, and I guess it just came out within the last week.
Yes, it did.
Because there was one copy there.
Yeah.
And I bought it. And I have a laser disc.
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that, yeah.
I know you need the money.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for it to come out in laser disc, because I have this wonderful sound system at home, and the sound on the videotape is just tremendous. Yeah. I have to admit, I put the tape on, and I was alone at my house, and I just turned that volume all the way up and just lied on the floor listening to it. I thought I was right there at the concert.
Well, the formats of it are there's a CD, and then there's the video, which is I would get the video or the Laserdisc, because the video is longer and the sound quality, as you say, is excellent. That's about 100 minutes, the video, and the same with the Laserdisc. But for people, I only just recently heard Laserdisc, and it is absolutely fantastic. Yes. You know, and it's one of those things I thought, oh, it'll never catch on, nobody's got that. And then I went to somebody's house and listened to an old video that we did called Legend of a Band, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant, the sound quality and the way you access the material on the disc. You know, you go straight to it. There's no winding backwards and forwards and all that.
Right. Now the whole section of the laser disc shop, actually they sell them in the video store still. Yeah. There's an area devoted now to rock and entertainment type laser discs, and most of the rock stars now are doing that, which I think lends itself well, even more so to the Moody Blues and to most groups, because of the type of sound that you have.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, this concert here, I mean, just after we did it, or just before we did it, I was staying in Los Angeles, and Eric Clapton was staying in the same hotel, and we've got a lot of friends in common. We were all talking, and a year ago, not this year of course, but last year, he did his usual stint at the Albert Hall in London, and he did like a week with an orchestra there. And he said, you want to be careful with this orchestra stuff, you know, doing it with an orchestra. I said, why? He said, well, we did it, and when they listened to it back, he said it would sound great on the night, but when they listened to it back in the cold light of day, he said it just didn't work, you know, it didn't come across. And I thought, well, I'm really worried about this. And then I woke up one morning, I thought, hey, hang on a minute, it's completely different for us. Because the Moody Blues music is a very different kind of music, and it's very conducive to this kind of treatment. And we're almost halfway there to the orchestral feel anyway.
Right. Last time we spoke, it was right after you had done this concert, before the tape was out, and you were working on, or at least planning what you hope to be your next tour sometime in '93, in which you were going to tour with orchestras. Is that developing?
It certainly is, yes. After this was shown on PBS, the response has just been tremendous, and we've had calls from like orchestral directors all over the world trying to get this thing going. And we start in Europe in May, and then really work the rest of this year with this orchestral concept, because it seems that orchestral directors, everybody wants it for their own orchestra, but you know, they think, oh, this is a good idea, you know, for the Frankfurt Symphony to put in the Moody Blues and bring a new audience to make them aware of the group. So yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, when you perform at a place like Caesar's Palace, is it a different feel for you than it is performing at the Red Rocks Amphitheater or in a stadium or those type of places?
It's a very different feel, yes, and we love it, to be quite honest. We love Caesars, and they're very kind to us. The whole thing is just so well organized, and the food, and it's all clean and immaculate, and the room itself is great, and you can see the audience, and you know that they're responding and that they're having fun and they want you to do well, and we always have a great time, and it's a great night, and we're very glad to be here.
I suspect that it's nice to be in one location for a few days running.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
Certainly is, yeah.
You've been around with the Moody Blues, been around since 1964. You joined the group shortly thereafter. It's been album after album, hit after hit. What was your biggest song?
Miss after miss.
Oh, not that many misses.
The biggest selling song will always be Nights in White Satin, because I just don't think, you might, but I don't think that we'll ever have another one like that. And that was a hit 3 times in Europe and a hit twice here. And it's a very special song. It means a lot to a lot of people, and it's part of people's lives.
Yeah. How did you go about developing Nights in White Satin? Did you have the music first, the lyrics?
Well, you see, I've obviously been asked this question a lot of times, and the thing is, I was 19 years old, when I wrote that song in 1966. So I've kind of thought about it so much that I'm not even sure what's the sort of fiction and what's the actual fact of it. But I know where I was, and I was in a small bed-sitting room. That's just a one room where the bed comes down out the wall in Bayswater in West London. And I only had a few possessions. One was this big 12-string guitar. There was some white satin sheets that I had, and I had a lot of emotion. I was going through a lot of emotional stuff with an old romance, and I just met somebody new, and I just met my wife, in fact, and my wife that was to be. And so there was a lot of those love feelings in it, and I wanted to write a song that would be kind of in adoration of all women, as it were, and because they always fascinate you and me, I know, that we're the same. And so that was the theme. That was the closest I can pin it down to, really. Other people will always tell you lots of things. To them, it means lots of different things. And
that's
people
the
get
beauty
married
of the song.
to it. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tuesday Afternoon, of course, is a mega hit, just like Nights in White Satin.
Well, Tuesday Afternoon, because in America, with London Records, who were a great company for us, but when they heard Days of Future Past, our first album, and Nights in White Satin, they said, oh, no, it'll never be a hit, we'll never get it played anywhere. So they didn't release it at first. They released Tuesday Afternoon. They thought that would be the hit, and they were right, and Tuesday Afternoon was the first hit we had here. And then 6 months later, they had to follow up Tuesday Afternoon, so they eventually put out Nights in White Satin, and of course it was a hit.
I was just wondering, we're going to take a break now, but when we come back, if you can maybe honor us with a little Tuesday Afternoon.
Oh, my pleasure, pleasure.
Okay, we'll be right back with Justin Hayward and Tuesday Afternoon.